My son, leave that your useless wife and marry this woman. She is rich. She can support and help you. I can't do this anymore.
I'm no longer your class.
Okay.
You lazy woman, just go in there and pack your useless clothes. My son has found someone better.
People think you always know when your marriage is dying. That's another lie we tell women so we can blame them later. The truth is that death in a marriage does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself. It enters quietly, like sleep. And by the time you notice, something inside you has already stopped breathing. My name is Aderisola, and before anyone turned my life into a lesson, I was just a woman trying to keep her home standing. I met my husband, Kunle, when nothing about him looked impressive. He didn't have money, he didn't have connections. What he had was restlessness, the kind that make a man stare into space as if he's already living in a future nobody else can see. I was teaching at a private school then. The pay was small, but it was steady. Kunle was floating between contracts, always promising that one big opportunity was close. I believed him. Not because I was foolish, but because I loved the way he talked about tomorrow. When we married, we didn't move into a dream. We moved into a room. One room, thin walls, a shared bathroom that always smelled like bleach and disappointment. But we laughed a lot. Even hunger sounds softer when laughter lives with it. I was not loud. I was not dramatic. I believe patience was strength. Every morning, I walked before him, packed his food, ironed his shirts, until the collar stood properly. When he failed, I covered it with prayer. When he doubted himself, I became his mirror. I didn't know then that some men don't want mirrors. They want windows. Kunle's mother never said she hated me. She didn't need to. Hatred doesn't always shout. Sometimes it smiles sternly and compares you to ghosts. She is trying, she would say. Trying. As if effort was my permanent identity. Whenever she visited, the air in the room changed. My food suddenly tasted wrong. My voice sounded too small. Kunle noticed, but he said nothing. Silence, I would later learn, is always a decision. The job came quietly. A new consulting firm. Female-owned. Good pay. Kunle came home that day smiling in a way I hadn't seen in years. I think this is it, he said. I knelt down and thanked God until my knees hurt. I didn't know heaven sometimes answers prayers without tests. The first change was not his phone. It was his time. He started coming home later. Not extremely late. Just late enough to miss dinner. When I asked, he said, "Work is demanding." I understood. I encouraged him. I was proud. That's the part people forget when they judge women later. We didn't become difficult first. We became supportive. Then the phone changed. He started placing it face down, carrying it everywhere, smiling at messages he didn't share. When I asked, he laughed. "You are imagining things." So I apologized for imagining. One night, while he slept, I washed his face, and I realized something terrifying. He looked peaceful. Not the tired peace of a struggling man, but the satisfied peace of someone whose needs were being met somewhere else. That was the first night I couldn't sleep beside my own husband. I didn't meet her immediately. I only heard her name. Madam S. The way he said it carried weight. Respect. Admiration. Something softer that frightened me. Still, I said nothing. Women are taught to endure until endurance kills them. As his life expanded, mine shrank. I became careful, quiet, smaller. His mother noticed and liked it. "This is how a wife should be," she said once. I smiled. Inside, something cracked. The day I truly knew was not dramatic. No shouting, no evidence. Just one sentence. "She understands me," Kunle said casually one evening. He didn't say my name. He didn't need to. That was the moment my marriage stepped out of my body and refused to return. I didn't leave that night. I stayed. Because love does not die immediately. It begs first. And I was still begging. I stayed because living felt like admitting failure. And I was ready to call my life a mistake. Every morning after that sentence, she understands me. I woke up with a quiet heaviness in my chest. Not pain exactly, more like awareness. It's like discovering a crack in a wall and realizing it had been there for a long time, just hidden behind the paint. Kule became gentler with me in a strange way. Not affectionate, gentle. As if it was handling something fragile he no longer intended to keep. He stopped arguing with me, stopped correcting me, stopped explaining himself. At first, I thought it was peace. Later, I understood it was detachment. When a man is still fighting for a marriage, he gets angry. He raises his voice. He defends himself. But when he has already left you in his mind, he becomes polite. Kule would listen to me talk and nod. But his eyes were elsewhere. He would eat my food and thank me. But the gratitude felt rehearsed. At night, he would turn his back to me. Not out of anger, but comfort. And that hurts more than shouting ever could. I started trying harder. I dressed better at home. I laughed more. I avoided complaints. I reduced myself to fit into whatever version of me is still tolerated. His mother noticed the change before I did. She always did. One afternoon, she came to stay for a few days. She sat on my couch like a judge who had finally been given evidence. This job has changed my son, she said casually, sipping tea. I smiled. In a good way, I hope. She hummed. Growth always changes people. Then she added, some wives grow with their husbands, others slow them down. She said it softly, lovingly. Kule said nothing. That silence landed harder than words. The house did change physically, but emotionally, I was no longer the owner. Kule made decisions without mentioning them. He bought things without consulting me. He spoke about plans I wasn't part of. Once, he mentioned a work dinner. Who else is going? I asked. He hesitated. Just colleagues. That hesitation sat with me all night. I didn't see her. I heard her. Kule's phone rang while he was in the bathroom. I wasn't trying to snoop. I only wanted to silence it. Then her voice came through the speaker. Light, confident, familiar. Kunle, don't forget what we discussed, okay? I froze. She didn't sound like a colleague. She sounded like someone used to being listened to. When he came out, I handed him the phone calmly. Your call, I said. He thanked me. Didn't explain. That was when fear settled properly in my chest. I prayed harder. Not angry prayers. Not desperate ones. Polite prayers. God, please restore my home. God, please help my husband see me. But heaven was quiet. Or maybe heaven was watching. She came on a Saturday. Kunle told me that morning, casually. My boss is coming around later, just to greet. My heart skipped. Boss? The word tasted strange in my mouth. I cleaned the house like someone preparing for inspection. Cooked carefully. Dressed modestly. When she arrived, she didn't announce herself loudly. She walked in like she belonged. She was beautiful in an effortless way. Not loud, not flashy. She smiled at me with a smile that carried evaluation. So you are Aderisola, she said. Not nice to meet you. Not have heard so much. Just so you are her. I smiled back. I didn't know that was the day my position in my own home would quietly shift. She complimented my food, touched my furnitures, spoke to Okule as if I wasn't in the room. And his mother watched her like a fulfilled prophecy. My daughter, she called her. I felt something sink inside me. Not jealousy, recognition. After she left, Kunle was unusually quiet. I asked gently, is everything okay? He nodded, yes. Then he added, she likes you. I didn't know whether to cry or laugh. From that day, the house was no longer neutral ground. Every conversation felt like comparison. Every silence felt deliberate. I was still his wife, but I was no longer his future. I didn't leave immediately. I waited. Because when you've built a life with someone, you don't abandon it at the first crack. You wait to see if the wall will collapse or if it will crush you first. After that visit, something invisible rearranged itself in my house. Nothing dramatic happened the next day. Kunle still woke up, still dressed for work, still kissed my forehead before leaving. But the kiss felt like habits, not affection. I started paying attention to details I had once ignored. The way he now paused before answering me, the way his laughter came easier when he was testing, the way my presence no longer affected his mood positively or negatively. Indifference is louder than anger if you listen closely. I didn't even know what I was competing against. A woman I barely knew, a version of myself I could no longer reach. I woke earlier to look better. I spoke softer. I complained less. I became a careful woman in our own home. Kunle noticed, but not in the way I hoped. You've changed, he said one evening. I smiled, hopeful. Is that good? He shrugged. Just different. Different. Not better, not beautiful. Just different. When Kunle's mother noticed Kunle wouldn't stop her, she became bolder. She compared openly now. This your boss is very composed, she said one afternoon. Some women know how to balance work and home. I was serving food when she said it. My hand trembled slightly, but I didn't respond. She continued, not everybody is built for a successful man. Kunle cleared his throat. That was all. No defense, no correction. I understood something then. Silence repeated often enough becomes agreement. Kunle stopped sharing his worries with me. When I asked about work, he gave summaries instead of stories. When I asked about his day, he gave answers instead of conversations. Our marriage became transactional. Food, bills, sleep. Love was no longer mentioned. I had never checked his phone before. Not because I didn't want to, but because I believed trust was sacred. That night, my body moved before my mind agreed. His phone was on the bed, unlocked. There was no dramatic message, no explicit proof. Just one line. Did you get home safely? Sent by her. I stared at the screen for a long time. That sentence told me everything. Not passion, not romance. Care. I put the phone back exactly where it was, and I sat on the edge of the bed until morning. I became quieter. Friends noticed. You don't talk like before, one said. I smiled. Marriage. That's what we tell people when we don't want to explain pain. At home, I stopped asking questions I already knew the answers to. Kunle noticed my withdrawal and relaxed. Men rarely panic when women push back. They panic when women push forward. She came again. This time, she didn't ask. She walked in like a familiar guest. She hugged Kunle. She nodded at me. Hope I'm not disturbing, she said. Atun said she wasn't. His mother was radiant. I served food again. I felt like a staff. We were all sitting in the living room. She laughed at something Kunle said and touched his arm lightly. Not flirtatious. Worse. Comfortable. His mother smiled approvingly. Then she said it. If only my son had married someone like you. The room went quiet. My ears rang. I waited. Kunle said nothing. That was the sound of my marriage ending. I didn't cry. I excused myself politely, went into the bathroom, locked the door, and slid down the wall. I covered my mouth so no sound would escape. Because even in pain, I didn't want to embarrass him. That realization hurt more than the insult. He came into the bedroom late, sat at the edge of the bed, cleared his throat. I think we need to talk, he said. I nodded. My body already knew. When a man says we need to talk without fear in his voice, it means he has already decided. I just didn't know yet how much of my life he planned to erase. Kunle didn't look at me when he started talking. That was the first thing I noticed. He stared at the floor, hands clasped, like a man about to confess something noble. I've been thinking, he said. I waited. Silence stretched between us, thick and deliberate. He wanted me to feel it. I didn't. I feel like we've grown different, he continued. Different again. That word followed me like a curse. I nodded slowly. Different how? He sighed. You wouldn't understand. I felt something tighten inside me, but I kept my voice steady. Try me. This marriage, he said carefully, started when we were both struggling. We supported each other. But now, things are changing. Changing for who? He spoke as if growth were something happening to him, not us. I have evolved, he added. There it was. Not we. I. I swallowed. And where do I fit into this evolution? He hesitated. I feel held back sometimes. Held back? By loving him? By believing in him when he had nothing? By standing with him when nobody respected him? But I didn't say any of that. I asked, by me? He didn't answer immediately. Then, not intentionally. He leaned forward now, warming to his script. You are a good woman, he said. You try. You care. Each sentence sounded like a dismissal. But you don't push me, he continued. You don't challenge me intellectually. You are comfortable. Comfortable. As if stability were a crime. I smiled weakly. When did comfort become a bad thing? He didn't smile back. He didn't say her name. Not once. But she sat between us like a third body. I need someone who understands my vision, he said. Someone aligned with my future. I asked softly, am I not? He looked at me then, and I saw it. Pity. I think you are more aligned with my past. That sentence landed like a verdict. So, what are you saying? I asked. My voice sounded far away, even to me. He rubbed his palms together. I think we should take some time apart. Apart. Not divorce. Not honesty. Apart to soften the blow. And during this time, I asked. He stood up. I will stay with my mother. I almost laughed. His mother's house. The same place where she was welcome. Where I was a topic, not a person. I should have asked when or why. Instead, I asked, is there someone else? His pulse told me everything. I didn't plan it, he said quickly. It just happened. That sentence has destroyed more homes than violence ever has. I didn't scream. I didn't throw anything. I asked, do you love her? He opened his mouth, then closed it. I respect her, he said. That was enough. Before leaving the room, he said, I hope we can be mature about this. Mature? As if betrayal were a phase. As if my pain were inconvenience. I lay awake all night, listening to the fan, the distant traffic, the sound of a life unraveling politely. At dawn, he packed a bag. Not hurried, not guilty. Organized. He hugged me briefly. I will call, he said. I nodded. The door closed. And just like that, I became a woman whose marriage ended without a fight. The house felt enormous. I sat on the floor, not crying yet, just breathing. Because sometimes the body delays grief until it feels safe. I thought the worst part was over. I was wrong. The worst part was how quickly everyone else adjusted to a life where I no longer mattered. For 3 days after Kunle left, nobody called me. Not him, not his mother, not anyone from his family. The silence felt intentional, like a test to see how long it would take before I broke. On the 4th day, his mother came. She didn't knock. She walked in like someone reclaiming property. She sat down without greeting me. "You look thin," she said. "Stress doesn't suit you." I stood there unsure whether to offer her a seat or my pride. She crossed her legs. Kule told me everything. Everything. The world sounded heavy in her mouth. "You are never a bad woman," she continued. "Just limited." Limited. I nodded slowly, because arguing felt pointless. "A woman must know when to step aside," she added. "Men don't like obstacles when they are rising." She stood up. "It's for your own good," she said. "Don't fight what God has already arranged." Then she left. After that visit, the call started. Not to ask how I was, to advise me. "You are still young. Don't stress yourself. At least he didn't beat you. Some women endure worse." As if pain must compete to be valid. People spoke to me like I had already been replaced, and I was expected to accept it with grace. I saw them together for the first time at a distance. She was laughing. Kule was carrying her bags, the way he once carried mine. They didn't see me. I watched them walk to his car like a finished sentence. I didn't cry. I went home and sat in the dark. Because sometimes the soul shuts down before the tears arrive. I began replaying old moments. Every argument, every silence, every time I felt small and called it love. I asked myself impossible questions. Was I boring? Was I too soft? Did I stop being enough? That's the danger of abandonment. It rewrites your history. Kule called one evening. "I think it's the best if you move out," he said. Out. From the house I helped build. From the life I helped shape. "My mother thinks it will help everyone heal," he added. "Everyone, not me." I packed slowly. Not because I had much, but because each item carried a memory. Our wedding album, a cracked mug we bought when we had nothing, the first curtain I ever chose as a wife. I left most things behind. I didn't want reminders or witness. I moved into my sister's spare room, a room that wasn't mine. I slept on a bed that didn't know me. At night, I stared at the ceiling and wondered how a whole marriage could disappear without a courtroom or even a farewell. One morning, while brushing my teeth, I looked at my reflection and didn't recognize her. Her eyes were dull. Her shoulders were curved inward. Her voice, when she spoke, sounded apologetic. I leaned over the sink and cried for the woman I used to be. The truth came quietly, not as anger, as clarity. I wasn't discarded because I was inadequate. I was discarded because I no longer served a version of him that didn't require admiration, nor partnership. That was the lowest point. Not the betrayal, not the humiliation, but the moment I believed, even for a second, that I deserved it. I didn't wake up strong. That's the lie people like to tell. I woke up tired of being small. It started with one decision so small nobody would have called it growth. I stopped apologizing for existing. When people asked, "How are you holding up?" I stopped saying I'm fine. I said, I'm healing. That word felt strange in my mouth, but it felt honest. I began to speak again. Not loudly, not boldly, just truthfully. I told my sister when her jokes hurt. I told friends when their advice was careless. I told myself when I was tired instead of pretending strength. Voice comes before power. I remembered who I was before marriage taught me to shrink. The woman who asked questions. The woman who learned quickly. The woman who wasn't afraid to take up space. I enrolled in courses I had postponed for years. Not to prove anything, but because my mind was hungry. Growth stopped being revenge. It became nourishment. Opportunities didn't rush in. They arrived quietly. A recommendation, a contract, a promotion that startled even me. For the first time in years, I earned without permission. Money hit my account and didn't disappear into shared responsibilities or emotional debts. I bought myself something unnecessary and didn't feel guilty. I started working every morning. Not for weight, for clarity. I slept better, laughed louder, stood straighter. My reflection softened. Not prettier, freer. It circled back. I became happier. No longer scared, no longer tired, no longer blaming myself. Then, karma did what it knows how to do most. It circled back. That's what surprised me. There was no explosion, just erosion. The woman who understood him began to challenge him. The admiration became expectation. The excitement became pressure. Men who abandon stability for excitement forget that excitement eventually asks for substance. Then, one afternoon, as I was sitting at the balcony enjoying my juice and scrolling through my phone slowly, a message popped up. Just that. I didn't reply. Then another message. I hope you are doing well. I still didn't reply. Not out of spite, out of peace. Months later, he called. I answered, not because I wanted him back, but because I no longer feared hearing his voice. It sounded smaller. I made a mistake, he said. There it was. Not I hurt you. Not I was wrong. A mistake. As if I were a wrong turn, not a life. He asked to see me. I agreed. Closure is not weakness when you are whole. He sat across from me, restless. He talked too much. People do that when they are nervous. She's not who I thought, he said. I miss what we had. I realize now you were my peace. Peace. I smiled. Not bitterly. Knowingly. He reached for my hand. I moved it away gently. No, I said. Not angry. Certain. I would do better, he said. I see things clearly now. I was stupid. I listened. Then I spoke. You didn't lose me because you were confused, I said. You lost me because when you had power, you chose admiration over partnership. He tried to interrupt. I raised my hand. I'm not angry anymore, I continued. But I'm also not available. That was the sentence that broke him. He cried. He really cried. But I didn't. Because I had already done my crying when nobody was watching. Now, I was stronger. I was a strong woman. I stood up. He asked, is there really no chance? I answered honestly, no. Not because he wasn't sorry, but because I was done shrinking to fit regrets. I didn't win because he suffered. I won because I returned to myself. His regret was just proof that my worth was never the problem. Today, I live fully and freely. I take up space. I speak without permission. I love without begging. And if love comes again, it will meet me standing, not waiting. Some men lose good women and call it growth. Some women lose everything and call it rebirth. And I was the second kind. This is my story. Before you shrink for anybody who doesn't deserve it, remember Aderinsola and how I almost lost myself. So we've come to the end of this amazing story, my dearest viewers. And this is a true life story. And I really don't know why some men feels like when they start making money, the woman who was there doesn't fit in their standard anymore. Like they feel like, oh, that was when I was struggling. Now I am bigger and you can't fit into my standard. You are not my class anymore. Like, but when you were struggling, this person was with you and you didn't think of it like you both of you weren't in the same standard. Now that you are making it, you now realize that this person is not in your standard. Please stop it. It's not good. Because if it was you, if you were to be in the person's shoe, the case was to be reversed. You won't like it. So don't do to others what you wouldn't want to be done to you. Please. And my moral lessons for today is never shrink to keep someone comfortable. Love is not meant to erase you, silence you, or make you question your worth. When someone chooses convenience, admiration, or pride over loyalty and partnership, their loss is not your failure. Growth that requires you to disappear is not growth, it is exploitation. True elevation comes when you return to yourself, rebuild with dignity, and refuse to accept love that arrives only after regret. And as clearly stated in the scripture, Proverbs 4 verse 23 said, above all else, guard your hearts, for everything you do flows from it. And Galatians 6 verse 7, do not be deceived, God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. So please, do not think that you eat your cake and have it. As a man, you feel like, oh, this is a woman, she's under me. Some of you have this mentality that all women are under you, and so therefore you can do as you like. Do not think you eat your cake and have it. Do not treat a woman badly and later you expect the woman to treat you right. It is impossible. Please do not do that. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end, my dearest viewers. So I would like to hear your thoughts on this one. Has something like this happened to you? Or do you know of anyone this has happened to? Or have you heard of something similar to this? Please, we would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. And if this has happened to you, how did you go about it? How did you escape from the bondage? Because this is honestly a bondage. I see no reason why you want someone to suffer with you, but you wouldn't want them to enjoy with you. It's honestly a bondage. So please share your thoughts with me and please share the lessons you learned from this story. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you are watching on TikTok, please click on that plus sign to follow me so that when I post new stories, you will get to see them. And on YouTube, my YouTube besties, please don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that when I post good, amazing stories just like this, you'll be among the first people to see them. Please share this story out with your friends, family, loved ones, and even your enemies, because trust me, your enemies need to listen to this story and learn one or two from it. Please, besties, do well to share this video so that we'll get more views. Or would you want me to have more followers and subscribers? Please help me, besties. Let's get more views on this video. Please and please. And if you have not followed me or subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Please now, Abba. I've been shouting since I've been making this video for you. Please, the only thing you have to do for me is to subscribe or follow me. I beg you in the name of God. And my today's shout out is for my besties, my dearest subscribers and my dearest followers. God bless you. I see your love, I see your support, I see your shares, I see your reposts, I see all you do, I see your likes, especially your comments. I see them. Thank you so much, especially to my TikTok families. May God continue to bless you all. I love you all so much, besties. Thank you for all you do. Please, if you want me to give you a shout out, drop your name and where you're watching from in the comment section. And if you like what African Tales by Sonia is doing on this channel and you wish to support me, you can simply buy me a coffee by using the link on my bio or the link on the description of this video. God bless you as you do so. And even if you don't have money, you don't have anything to support me, trust me, all support is support. As long as it's coming out from your heart, you can subscribe to my channel. That alone is a big support to me. Please do well to subscribe again. Please, I'm begging you all. Please, so that YouTube will start paying me, or so that TikTok will start paying me. You guys should please help me. Please and please. And before I go, make yourself the priority. Never let anyone bring you down. Until I come away again with my next amazing story. Ciao!